kind of a crossroads matchup today of two normally well-oiled machines, both going through somewhat of a retooling program. Injuries the cause, of course, in both cases, but a lot of youth being injected into the Dallas Cowboy program just by design. Now, Dan Jiggets, the difference, of course, is that the Bears are going well, and they've got the experienced Jim McMahon at quarterback. Cowboys struggling a bit, trying to get an experienced Steve Pelluer at quarterback.
Well, Steve Pelluer has posted some good numbers for the Cowboys early on in the season, but they know, and Steve knows, that the key to being successful in Dallas is to win football games. Now, the other thing they're looking for Steve to do is to complement the running game. Now, Herschel Walker's going to handle that running game. Steve's got to handle that passing game for the Cowboys.
Well, the Bears have had to use some rookies by necessity. They've got injuries to starters Wilson, Duerson, and Gale, so they've got to go with the kids today.
They sure do. Dante Jones is going to start at outside linebacker for the Bears, and at the safety position, David Tate will start. Now, the Bears don't want to start these rookies, but injuries have forced that to be the case. The other thing, though, is for the Bears, time of possession. When they have that ball more than the opponents, they win.
All right, Dan. Well, the sun is coming out just as we are about to begin our football game at Soldier Field. It rained heavily last night, again this morning, and looked threatening. However, it's now 58 degrees, cloudy, but with the sun poking through, they had turned the lights on here at Soldier Field, and I think pretty soon we'll probably see them turn them off. Roger Ruzek will kick off for the Dallas Cowboys. The Bears to receive with Thomas Sanders and Dennis Gentry back, waiting at the goal line of Chicago to our left.
Jim, as you said, they turn the lights on, and now the big guys turn the lights on up in the sky. The sun has come out. It's beautiful.
The weather has been superb here all week long. Cowboys lead this series against the Bears 9-5, but they've lost the last two games against the Chicago Bears, and of course they're looking at an NFC Central leading team at 5-1. The Cowboys at 2-4 are quick to say they need this game to stay in the Eastern Division race. Gentry bobbles it at the goal line. Works his way out to the 18-yard line, and Jim McMahon will lead out the Bears, making his 7th consecutive start, and that is the first time that McMahon has done that in his entire career. Hard to believe, but despite all his injuries, he's ready to go. He'll face this line: Jones, Brooks, Noonan, and Jeffcoat. They have been tough all season. Burton, Lockhart, and newly acquired Gary Cobb, the linebackers. Walls, Robert Williams replacing Ron Francis on the corner. Bates and Downs. Michael Downs, a questionable starter today because of a groin injury. Did not practice all week, but he is out there. In motion. McKinnon, Robert Williams, after a gain of about 8 yards to the 25-yard line. And the Bears have Neil Anderson and Matt Suey in the backfield. Gentry, McKinnon, Emery Moorhead are the receivers. John Wojciechowski still there for the injured Jim Covert. Forts, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn. Wojciechowski is bothered with a knee himself. Covert has a back injury. He's on injured reserve. And Wojciechowski bothered with a strained knee, and we'll have to watch him closely again because it's uncertain how long he'll be able to go out there. Second and long 2. Neil Anderson. Tripped up by Robert Williams, the second-year man from Baylor on the corner. The inactive players today, you've got starters out on both sides. For the Cowboys, Michael Irvin, their #1 pick, he's been out for 2 or 3 games now. Darrell Smith, a backup tackle. Dave Duerson missing from the Bear lineup, and Greg Lasker, newly acquired as defensive help. Duerson out with a kidney injury.
Well, the key about Darrell Smith, though, is Darrell Smith for the Cowboys is a good pass-blocking tackle, and they're going to miss that today, certainly. Mark Tuinei is starting in his place.
Tuinei coming back off a knee injury of his own, giving Smith that opportunity to start for him. On first down, Suey. To the Bear 42, another Chicago first down. Diassi made the tackle with Cobb.
Tim, I really like what I saw out of left tackle John Wojciechowski. We were wondering whether or not he was going to be able to handle things with that bad knee that he's got. Boy, that time was a slight play action. He just snapped those arms out there. He was going against Kevin Brooks, number 99, and he just worked him right on the line of scrimmage, moving his feet. And that's the whole key for offensive linemen. You move those dogs, you can stay in front of that defensive end or tackle.
Wojciechowski He didn't practice until Friday of this week, and when he spoke to us after practice, he was not all that confident about the knee, but nonetheless giving it a go, and so far so good. First down, Bears. Play action. Wide open in the middle, the tight end, Emery Moorhead. First down to the Dallas 45-yard line. Gary Cobb, the linebacker, stopped him there.
Well, I tell you what, Jim McMahon got good protection up front. Watch the spacing between his offensive line and McMahon, and then you'll see Emery Moorhead, number 87. He's coming underneath of those linebackers. Now he's just crossing the numbers here, catches the football, he's wide open. Now the key is Emery caught the football because Jim McMahon got good time up front. Now watch those guys up front. Wojciechowski and Bortz working on Jim Jeffcoat, number 77. Excellent protection. He slips by late, but hey, that ball's gone.
14-yard gain on the play. Dallas 45. McMahon deep for McKinnon, just overthrown. McKinnon behind Bates and down.
It's too bad I had the perfect line for that one. McMahon to McKinnon, McTouchdown. You know, what the Bears want to do is they want to try to isolate one of those wideouts on Bill Bates. They feel that in a one-on-one situation, that's a good setup for them because Billy's not quite as fast as those cornerbacks are.
Well, the usually confident McMahon told us on Friday after the Bears practice that they thought they could throw on this Dallas secondary, including the linebackers. But like most teams, they want to establish the run. They haven't had to do it so far. Anderson does not establish anything except a meeting with Kevin Brooks, who straightened him up and belted him back, number 99.
But I tell you what, the key to that play, though, was Ron Burton outside. He just strung that play out. He's number 57, outside linebacker. Watch him string this play out. And watch Neil Anderson. He can't duck it up underneath. Brooks is coming out on the flow as well. Ed Too Tall Jones does a great job on the corner as well. And as a result, Neil Anderson can't turn it.
This front four, as we said, has been playing awfully well for Dallas. There's a look at Burton getting rest on the sideline, and Michael Downs.
Yeah, they take him out in that nickel situation, the passing situation, and that's what it is. He's third and long.
Francis has come in as the nickel back. Third and about 10.5. Up the middle for Gentry. Again, just missing. Robert Williams had the coverage one-on-one. That just missed.
Dennis Gentry, we were watching practice the other day, was catching a lot of these types of passes. You know, you get one-on-one in that situation there and just let him go against Robert Williams. Now, I'm sure the Bears are thinking that Ron Francis was going to be in there. Ron was out for a while. He was injured. Now he's, you know, he didn't play quite as well as he would like to, so they were going to isolate on him. But now Robert Williams is back, so it's a different story.
Francis has been out for a couple of months with a dislocated shoulder. Started the last 2 games, but replaced today. Kelvin Martin is back to receive the punt from Brian Wagner. Wagner angling for the corner, fair catch signal, and almost kept out of that end zone. A diving attempt. Number 58, Greg Clark, a rookie linebacker, but it will be a touchback. It will return to Soldier Field as the sun is coming out on a scoreless football game. Leads out the Dallas Cowboys, and it has been an up-and-down year for this young man, named as the starter at the training camp of the Cowboys this year. He's had some very good moments. He's had some difficult moments. The club is 2-4, and as Dan Griggs said at the top, they all know in Dallas that's the bottom line. He's got to get them into the win column. 26 years old, his 5th year from Washington, the number 5 pick in 1984. On first down, Herschel Walker gets about 3 running out the right side behind Kerr and Gogan. And defensively, the top team in the NFL, Al Harris, Steve McMichael, Dan Hampton, and Richard Dent. The linebackers, Rivera, Singletary, and today rookie Dante Jones out of Oklahoma makes his first start. Richardson, Vesti Jackson, Maurice Douglas for the injured Sean Gale, David for the injured Dave Dewerson, and David Tate for Sean Gale. So you've got 2 rookies, and Douglas, who is not the most experienced of the Bears defensive backs. But on second down, Walker is stopped by Ron Rivera. Offensively, the Cowboys, with Fuller at quarterback, Walker and Newsom the running backs, Ray Alexander, Kelvin Martin are the wide receivers, Thornton Chandler the tight end. They have a banged-up receiving corps. 2 and a back at tackle with Newton, Rafferty, Kerr, and Vogan. Now remember, the top pick Michael Irvin out of action. Kelvin Edwards is hurt. They would be the starters at wideout. And Doug Cosby, the tight end, with an Achilles problem, in uniform but not starting. 3rd down. Fuller flush, and he'll run for a 1st down. Oh, what a hit. He dropped the ball. Singletary put a hit on him on the slide. Bears have the football, but will they keep it?
The key question is, how is Steve Fuller? He took a wrap that time. Boy, you know, he's just starting into the slide when he got stuck.
Well, certainly the most important question is the health of Fuller off the hit, but I think another question, Dan, is he was trying to slide in there. He's supposed to get protection from that.
But he just started to slide. Now here he is coming back and setting up. He doesn't see anything immediately downfield, so he sees a lane to run in. He takes advantage of that. Now watch when he gets along in numbers. He goes into the hook slide, but boy, he got sandwiched in between 2 Bear defenders. Key among them, Mike Singletary, and they really put a stick on him. Maurice Douglas was the other guy. Now watch this again from the right in close. Maurice Douglas comes in the back, and Singletary takes him out in the front. Boy, I tell you what, that's a tough shot to take. Earlier today on the NFL Today, they talked about quarterbacks getting injured, and what can you do? Well, this is the kind of thing that if you're going to run that football, you got to hit the ground before those defenders have a chance to get to you, just to protect your own self.
Maurice Douglas made the initial contact, and then Singletary, so it was a tough sandwich on Fuller. Al Harris came up with the loose ball, and there was no flag on the play that I'm aware of as yet, and therefore the feeling must have been that it was a legal hit. The fact being, as you indicated, Dan, that maybe he didn't get that slide established soon enough before the defensive players could prevent themselves from putting a hit on him. He's still a runner to them at that point.
Well, you know, Paul Hackett, the quarterback coach of the Cowboys, mentioned to us the other day, he said, hey, look, I'm trying to teach this young guy, you know, slide in there, don't take that chance, because he's always trying to win this team, is what he said. He wants to win over the guys. Hey, I'm the starting quarterback, and I'm going to be a good guy for you, but you can't do it if you're taking a walk to the sideline and you're half conscious. You have to take that slide and take what the defense is giving you and get yourself down on the ground and protect yourself.
Fuller will get a rest for now at least, and see where they've spotted the ball at the 30-yard line, just short of the 1st down. They haven't moved the marker up yet as they've been completing the attention to Fuller, who has gone to the sideline, and Danny White is now in at quarterback, and he did make the 1st down marker. They're very slow in moving the sticks, but it is a 1st down, Dallas. Danny White, the veteran, comes in at quarterback. Chandler makes the strong side right. Walker. A big hole for Walker, and he just blew through there, keeping the legs chugging for a gain of about 8 yards. Finally, Singletary and Dent haul him down.
Jim Erkenbach, the offensive line coach of the Cowboys, likes these 300-pounders he's got up front. I like him too. Herschel Walker, you hand the ball off to him, he's 230 pounds. And look how many guys it takes to stop him. David Tate, the safety, is trying to stop him. He's number 49. He weighs 180 pounds. Tough to stop a guy when he's got that kind of steam rolling. And there's Steve Fuller over the sidelines getting checked out.
Well, evidently, he did get a little shot in the head there as they seem to be working on his jaw on the bench. 2nd down and 2. White, the quarterback, for the injured Fuller. Walker, 1st down, Dallas, to the 43-yard line.
You know, the nice thing about this Dallas offensive line is they are big guys. You know, they come from that 255 thing that Tom Landry had going back in the 70s to now they're 300-pounders all along that front line. And then you see clearly the numbers have gone up from 85 to 88. That's 294 pounds. Those are some big men. And what they do is they zone block up front. That means everybody steps to the same side and they all block together. So regardless of what scheme you're running defensively, somebody's on you.
That's because they're so big that they can't run like those littler guys used to.
You tell them.
1st down. White, complete to Cosby for a gain of 9. Doug Cosby, the 10-year man from Santa Clara, bothered with an Achilles injury, has not played much in the last couple of games because of that injury. And Thornton Chandler, the young man from Alabama, has been playing there.
Thornton Thornton Chandler. That sounds like an author's name, doesn't it? Like Thornton Wilder.
Yeah, it does. I like that. Thornton Chandler.
There's Cosby. Hey, you know, he's a guy that the Dallas Cowboys are really depending on to give him that added dimension as well, along with Steve Ballore. Another one of those go-to guys that they can have besides Herschel Walker.
It'll be 2nd and a yard. 2 tight ends in now, Chandler and Cosby on the short yardage. Play action fake to Walker, and White going deep. Wide open, but overthrown. Kelvin Martin, number 83, the second-year man from Boston College. And that was a perfectly executed play, except for the pass about 2 yards long.
Well, Kelvin Martin is playing with a cast on his left wrist. He fractured the wrist last week or a week or so ago, and that's going to affect his pass-catching ability, but it certainly doesn't affect his overall speed and outstanding speed down the field.
Landry's been very pleased with his play because, remember, again, Michael Irvin out with an ankle injury among the missing, and Calvin Edwards been bothered with a leg injury. Martin's taken up the slack. Walker trying for the first down. It'll be close. Bears think they stopped him. Singletary and Al Harris. They did not need much, however, and forward progress will bring in the sticks for a measurement.
That's like easy money when you take Herschel Walker and you try to gain a yard, but you know that Bear defense is pretty tough, slanting in and penetrating across the line of scrimmage, and that way they prevent you from getting that movement that you need up front.
They may have got enough movement anyway. Well, no, the Bears accomplished the task, stopping them. Now, you know, you have to like the call on 2nd down, but they didn't get it on 3rd.
That's it. Now watch 76 Steve McMichaels. Watch the penetration. He gets across the line of scrimmage, takes on the lead back, and as a result, Herschel doesn't have anybody to block for him over the other side. Singletary is able to make the stop. That lead back would like to get to that linebacker and block him, Singletary, but he wasn't able to.
There's Singletary, intense as always on the punt play. He's organizing everybody out there, and I think they're just fearful that they might fake it here. But Saxon will punt it. And it's off the side of his foot, a shank. Out of bounds near the 25-yard line of the Bears. Maybe upfield of that. They spot it at the 29. So Saxon, who had a good week last week for Dallas, shanks his first one here this afternoon. And we'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets at Soldier Field. You're looking at Steve Ballore, number 16, in the back of your picture, and he has just sustained a shot to the jaw that has him on the sidelines, but they say he will come back. He's bleeding a little from the mouth, sandwiched by Douglas and Singletary, and one of our folks over there heard him tell Danny White that he took an elbow from up underneath the chin strap and underneath the face guard of his helmet, but he plans to come back. Bears have the ball. First down at their 29 after a 19-yard punt by Saxon. McMahon for Morris, almost picked off by Everson Walls, as McMahon now has thrown the ball just long on 3 deep tries, and that one nearly resulted in an intercept.
Yeah, you're tempted to say Everson Walls, the receiver, on the play because he plays it better than the receiver does, and that's Ron Morris going downfield with him. But Everson is just out of his reach, and he tumbles over on the ground. But the thing is that Jim McMahon has to like is he's getting plenty of time to sit in that pocket and throw the football deep. That's something that the Bears have not done a whole lot of this season.
McMahon 3 of 6 for 32 yards to this point. Second offensive series for the Bears. Here in the first period, the sun is shining brightly while the lights are still on because it was cloudy and rainy this morning. Draw play Suey, and nowhere to go for Suey. Breaks loose from the first contact and turned it into about a 3-yard gain. Kevin Brooks had him wrapped up, but Suey just kept plowing away, and it was Bates who finally stopped him.
Well, I tell you what, what Matt Suey looked like that time was one of those guys when he was running in the stream, against the stream in the hard water, because he kept getting bumped. He'd stop, and then he'd gain a little bit more yardage. He runs so low to the ground, though. That's the key. Low center of gravity, and that makes it very difficult for anyone to stop him when he gets down in there.
Game of interest to NFC Central followers. Green Bay on top of Minnesota. Minnesota struggled against Tampa last week and finally won at 5 points. Suey got nearly 5 out of that, as it turned out. 3 wide receivers in now for the Bears. McKinnon, Kozlowski, and Wendell Davis. A flag down. McMahon in trouble. Sacked. But a flag on the play. It was Gary Cobb, number 59, who brought him down.
He got him on the hard snap count, though. He got the Dallas defensive line on this hard snap count.
Illegal motion. Back left early. Is declined. Fourth down.
Well, he may have got him. He got his own guy, too.
He got his own back.
Illegal motion against the Bears does not make the Big Bear Ditka happy, and Chicago will have to punt.
Come on, Wag.
Ryan Wagner. Last week, 8 punts, 47.5-yard average against the Lions. This one comes down at the 25-yard line. Kelvin Martin, good return to the 39-yard line after a 47-yard punt. Dallas with good field position. When we return, scoreless football game.
46 yards.
Ryan and Dan Jiggets in a now bright Chicago at Soldier Field. Danny White continues at quarterback. Valor says he wants back in, but they're staying with White for the moment, who just a week ago was unhappy at his mop-up role in the loss against Washington. On first down, complete to Alexander. Alexander gets about 9 on the play. Now, Danny, what difference do you think this will bring to the look of the Dallas attack? White instead of Valor.
Well, I think the thing that Danny brings to the game is the fact that he's more of a touch passer. Paul Hackett, the quarterback coach, was telling us last night, he's a guy that's real smooth, can dink it out to the backs, get the receivers on the short routes, such as that one to Alexander. Now, Steve Valor's more the downfield guy. He likes to throw the 20-yard pattern downfield. And as a result, you'll see more of that dink stuff with Danny White, and look for Herschel Walker to start catching the football.
2nd and a yard for Dallas, near midfield. Neither team has been able to sustain a drive as yet. We're still in the first period. Walker for the first down. Dallas into Bear territory at the 48-yard line. And now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger at our studios in New York.
Well, Tim, you flashed the score, and here is the Phoenix Cardinal touchdown. Neil Omack's 11th scoring pass of the season goes to Jetstream Roy Green. There is a safety right now, and it is 7-2. Let me update that. The Redskins just get on the board. Let's go back to Tim.
Cardinals, they're playing with a lot of confidence, Dan. We saw them against the Rams, and
They are for real.
they are for real. First down. White, complete. Close to another first down. Cosby, playing with that Achilles, has made 2 catches for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and that's
Dante
how
Jones on him.
Doug found himself working against Dante Jones, number 53, excuse me, and he'll be on the right side of your screen. Now, Cosby runs that out pattern, and then watch him. He's got the outside linebacker beat already, the young rookie. Now, you know Doug is setting him up over there, giving him that outside, and they're going to send him in that seam, particularly if they keep getting man-to-man coverage on that play.
Well, Dante has been backing up Mike Singletary in the middle. This is really kind of a new role for him out there, and he's being asked to start outside. And the irony of it is that they put him out there ahead of Mickey Pruitt because he's a bigger guy, anticipating the Herschel Walker attack. 2nd and 1. Inside, Walker for another Dallas first down. The 36-yard line. And the Cowboys on the move with Danny White at quarterback, Dan Hampton and Singletary on the stop.
And the Dallas Cowboys early in this game, at least from a running game standpoint, have been fairly right-handed. Seem to like running behind Tom Rafferty, Crawford Kerr, and Kevin Gogan up there. Those big guys over on the right offensive side of the ball for the Cowboys. Herschel Walker likes to feature those big men up front over there.
First down, Dallas. Bears 36, and this time they stuffed Newsom right at the line of scrimmage. Hampton slipping between blockers and making the stop.
Well, Dan Hampton told us that if he gets one-on-one with a guy, he feels like he's always going to beat him now. He's working one-on-one with the center. He just slip blocks there off of Rafferty, and he meets Timmy Newsom at about 2 yards in the backfield.
Newsom's forward momentum got him about a half yard, so it's 2nd and a long 9 from the 35 of Chicago. All-pro Dan Hampton having an all-pro year again. Alexander having difficulty with the play or the count, one or the other. White under pressure is sacked. Back to the 40-yard line. J.J. Jones.
Well, you know, when you get down in this area, this is the area inside that 40-yard line where the Bears like to bring the blitz, and that's what they do this time. Number 53, Jones, he comes from outside, steps back inside. He had Gogan working up the field, and then you see that Singletary and all those guys getting in the middle, McMichael, and they just close it down.
That'll leave 3rd down and 15. Todd Crum and Lemuel Stinson, 2 more rookie defensive backs come in for the Bears. Adding extra defense against the wide receiver corps. White sacked again. McMichael.
Hey, Tim, we talk about Pro Bowl efforts. Nobody's been playing a better on a defensive line than 76 Steve McMichaels. You're going to see him coming from the right side of your screen. He beats Gogan there, and he just rips Danny White. Got him on that inside move, worked him up the field about 2 yards, and then came right up underneath Gogan. Realized that Gogan's a big offensive tackle, not as nifty on his feet.
McMichael, a sack and a half today. That brings him up to 5 on the season. McKinnon back to receive the punt from Saxon. Oh, he hits a dandy this time. So Chicago will start from their own 20 as their defense has risen up to stop the Cowboys. We'll be back. First quarter, Soldier Field, Chicago. No score as yet. It's been a defensive battle, and both teams are doing the job. Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggets. And Dan, the ironies of this quarterback situation in the NFL continue. All of the injuries. Steve Fuller getting his chance. Danny White, unhappy last week. Here he is.
Yeah, you know, I saw him last night in the hotel, and he was he had a smile on his face and everything. But, hey, you never know what's going to happen now with all these quarterbacks going down.
Well, the Bears quarterback is McMahon. He gives it to Neil Anderson, and he shakes tackles and shakes loose.
Neil got a little reverse field action on that play. Didn't see anything over on his right side. Now watch him just reverse the field. A little counter action there, and he makes the counter action. Steps up in there, nothing there. Hey, shake off Randy White. Head for the corner. Oops, yeah, now there's another tackler. Let me get away from him. Steve Diassi, you're not going to catch me. Now he just heads up the field. But you know, that's the dimension that Neil Anderson brings that Walter Payton didn't have in the last couple of years of his career, is that speed to turn that corner outside wide.
First down, Chicago at their own 41-yard line. Play action. Lots of time for McMahon. Now he's running out. Randy White, the great veteran, makes the stop. Good coverage downfield by the Cowboys that time. There was ample time for McMahon, but the good coverage deep finally gave White the chance to catch up with him, Danny.
Now watch Randy. He's number 54. He's working outside against Emery Moorhead. Emery cuts him, but with a good athlete like Randy, that's not good enough. You got to stay in that guy's face. He gets up in McMahon's face and makes the sack. And as you said, good coverage downfield usually causes that kind of thing to happen.
35-year-old Randy White sharing time with both of the defensive ends, Jeffcoat and Jones, and both of the tackles. They're just spotting him here and there along the line, and he can still help anybody. Second down, 17. Grant Muster, the Stanford rookie, gets back most of the loss to the original line of scrimmage where Ron Francis and Bill Bates stop him.
You know, when you look at the Bears running backs, I mentioned earlier that Walter Payton at the end of his career didn't have that outside corner speed like he did for the first 8 or 9 years. But really what they've done now is they've spread the ball out more, given it to more people, put it in more people's hands, such as a Brad Muster. They know that Brad, coming out of Stanford, caught a lot of passes out of the backfield. So, hey, why not run him on the screen? That time they got a nice cut block out there on Jim Jeffcoat, number 77. Set that play up very nicely.
It leaves 3rd and 11. Time winding down first quarter. Still no score. Nice defensive play by Ron Francis. Flags down, however. The pass intended for Wendell Davis, and it looked like Francis made a nice diving bat of the ball.
It sure did. It looked like he had some spacing in there as well.
But maybe the infraction was off that play. We'll find out from referee Jim Tunney. doubt that it's on the Francis defensive play.
Defense, number 39, first down.
Well, they call it 39, but they must mean Francis 38. And so he was flagged for interference, and it may have been a push before he actually made the dive on the ball. It had to be.
A lot of times you reach over and you got that backhand working on the guy's back, and as a result, that's when you get the penalty, and that's where that official can see it as well.
So it's first down, Chicago at their own 46-yard line. For Neil Anderson, and he's close to the first down. Gary Cobb drives him out after a gain of about 9. That'll bring us to the end of the first quarter here at Soldier Field. The defenses have dominated, as the score would indicate. Dallas and Chicago are scoreless. It is now a brilliant sunny afternoon in Chicago after a rainy, dull morning. The grass still a little wet here at Soldier Field. Just a little slippery. Second down, pardon me, Bears, as we begin the second period. 2nd and a yard to go at the Dallas 46-yard line. Slot formation to the left. In motion from the slot. Suey has the first down for the Bears. He moves the ball to the 43-yard line of Dallas. Lockhart and Burton make the stop there. And if you've just joined us along the way, when the Cowboys return offensively, as we see the first quarter points for the Bears, they've been off to a great start this season, but shut out in the first period by a tough Dallas defense here. But getting back to the Dallas quarterback situation, Steve Pallure hit in the jaw, sliding in for a first down by Douglas and Singletary. We're told now he did suffer a slight concussion, will not be back. That happened to McMahon last week against Detroit. McMahon, punt from the pocket. Now he runs, and he slides, and survives at the 30-yard line with a Bear first down.
Now, speaking of slides, though, you saw when Jim McMahon started his. He started at about 5 yards before he got to those defensive personnel. He understands that, hey, look, you got to get down to that grass and get to second base. Don't mess around.
But he didn't used to. Well, he probably always understood it, but he did what he wanted to do, which was similar to what you described Pallure is doing, trying to prove to his teammates that he can make the big play, that he had the guts necessary to play in this league. But Mike Ditka now says he's happy with the change in approach that McMahon has brought to the game this season, that he knows he's got to be out on the field to help them. He's got to survive. And he has started 7 consecutive games for the first time. On first down, Anderson gets about 3 on the little swing pass, driven out by Lockhart.
Well, I tell you what, he shook Gary Cobb to the ground, though, on that play, and Eugene had to come over and make the tackle for Gary. Gary was standing there in position to make the stop. Neil gave him that little leg shake and just took off down the field.
You know, underneath that tape on Lockhart's shoes is written a little slogan, "No pity." Last year he was hurt in a game against Atlanta, broke his leg in game 11 of last season, and feeling a little sorry for himself. You could just see some of the writing there, and decided that, hey, you got to have the right attitude, and he was going to give himself no pity. His teammates think he's giving none to the opponents as well. 2nd and 5. Anderson gets about 3.
Well, I tell you what, I like that little spin move that Neil used going through the line of scrimmage. Just planted and rolled around. It's a dangerous move, particularly on the line of scrimmage, but he's able to effectively do it and get that little extra yardage there just when you come off of that and roll past the secondary.
Big Kevin Brooks along with Lockhart again, combining to stop Anderson. It'll be 3rd down and 2. The ball at the 22-yard line of Dallas. The deepest penetration by either team in the ball game thus far. Pitch out to Suey. First down, Chicago. Dallas 19.
Now, the reason why this play is successful is number 63, Jay Hilgenberg, pulls out. He's the center. I don't know how many times you see a center pulling out, but watch him lead the play around. Good corner block there by Van Horn, and then you see Matsui just shoot it straight up in the line of scrimmage. But Jay Hilgenberg, you know, those centers like for you to mention it when they pull out. We saw it the other day at practice, and he came over to me and says, hey, make sure you mention it if I pull out. So he's covered now.
It was Lockhart again. There's a rushing game going well for them. Started with the deep pass, and they've come back with the run, and it's been more effective. Not this time. Brooks nailing Anderson for a loss back to the 25.
Boy, I tell you what now, the other thing that you have to do as a center and the backside tackle is cut off that backside pressure. Now watch number 99, Kevin Brooks. He comes in from that backside, just slices in there. Tom Thayer pulled out, and he's leading out on the play, but somebody's got to block Kevin Brooks, and it never happened back there.
And, you know, they've got 5 defensive linemen in their active roster, and 4 of them are #1 picks. Make it 5 out of 6 defensive linemen on their roster. Danny White, Jeff Coat, Noonan, Brooks, and Jones, all #1 choices. Second down and 16. Draw play, Anderson. Short of the first down, but gets the ball to the 11-yard line of Dallas. Robert Williams stopped him there, forcing him out of bounds.
Well, I tell you what, on this play, Neil Anderson has nowhere to go because that defensive line of Dallas understands that it's a draw play. Now watch Neil bounce it back out on the left side. He takes off on that side. Now that's that outside speed that he brings to this team, that new dimension. There you see him. He almost outruns the secondary and Robert Williams.
7 carries, 44 yards now for Neil Anderson of the Bears. Third down. Suey and Sanders, the running backs. They need 1.5 yards. Flags are down. Suey has the yardage, but we'll have to wait for the call. And it's against Dallas. Jeffcoat and Jones, the defensive ends, made the stop. Tom Landry will not be pleased with this infraction against the Cowboys. Deep in their own territory inside the 10.
Knowing the way that Tom Landry is, he's probably already thinking, well, if they score here, if they get the field goal, they get the touchdown.
Outside, number 99 defense, 5 yards, makes it a first down.
This is what I want to come back with. He's always a couple of steps ahead of everybody else's thinking, and that's what's made him a great coach.
Interesting listening to Paul Hackett talk about Landry last night with almost a reverence, plenty of respect, but almost a reverence about what a thrill it is to be part of his staff and to be learning from a man who's had such a tremendously successful career. First and goal. Chicago threatening for the first time in the game. Sanders hit hard and gang tackled at the 4-yard line. Brooks with the initial contact, and 4 other Cowboys right behind him. Lockhart peels himself off, the linebacker Cobb, and Bill Bates, who's usually around the ball.
He's always around the ball, and usually head first. But you know that the Cowboy defense has played very well this season, and that's what's really kept the Cowboys in a lot of games. Now, the problem that they have had is, you know, hey, look, offensively, you got to get down. When you get down in that area, you got to put the football in the end zone, and that's something that, you know, they're concerned about now, but their defense has done a good job for them.
Suey and Anderson. Bears have been successful in this area. Reverse, McKinnon, nobody home, touchdown. McMahon was out there looking to block, and fortunately for him and the Bears, he didn't have to.
They sure did. Neil Anderson here hands it back to Dennis McKinnon on the reverse. Now watch McMahon. He's looking to throw on somebody. He's going, where is he? Where is he? Van Horn is up there, but hey, Dennis just coasts into the end zone. No one at home.
Butler for the point after. The Bears have broken the ice at Soldier Field, and they now lead the Dallas Cowboys 7
makes the reverse work so well is you pull both guards. Now that tells the defense that you're going to try to sweep to the left. Now watch Neil Anderson. He's going to come this way and then hand off to McKinnon coming back. And Ron Burton is the last guy out there, and he can't make it back in time. There you see Neil with the handoff now back to Dennis McKinnon. He takes it in. Burton's the last guy in the line of defense, and they go in for the score. Bears 6 points.
So Butler will kick it off. The deep inner Mark Higgs and Cornell Burbage. He was activated this week by the Cowboys. He comes to Higgs, the rookie. And Higgs battles his way out to the 20-yard line after bobbling the ball on the catch. Ray Clark, rookie linebacker, made the tackle. Jim Ryan with Dan Jiggets here at Soldier Field, and the Cowboys falling prey to the problem that has afflicted so many teams this season. Steve Pallure knocked out with a concussion trying to run for a first down. The only score by Chicago's Dennis McKinnon moments ago on a reverse after an 80-yard drive, 13 plays, 7 first downs, and most significantly 7 minutes on the clock by the Chicago Bears. Dallas first down at their 20. White, the quarterback. Walker met at the corner by Dante Jones, and asking young Mr. Jones about meeting Herschel Walker head-on, one-on-one. How was he going to do? He sounded pretty confident.
Yeah, he did pretty well in the preseason against the Cowboys as well. And what helped that time is Ron Rivera, 59, came up and really put strong pressure outside on the Cowboys offense. And as a result, Herschel had to turn that ball upfield, and he wasn't prepared to meet Mr. Jones.
Right into Mr. Jones, who goes 235, and Walker 225. 2-yard gain for Walker. White gets time, deep sideline. Intercepted, but out of bounds. Now, wait a minute. Now they're saying the interception is going to be an inbounds play. David Tate, the rookie from Colorado, starting for the injured Sean Gale. He made a great catch, whether they give it to him inbounds or out of bounds.
Well, you know, that free safety is supposed to play like center field, and David Tate does it beautifully here. Reaches right there in front of the receiver now. Both feet in bounds. That's the key question. And the other receiver had a hand on him, and quite possibly that may be the reason why they're looking at this play. Said, gee, did that receiver push him out of bounds when he came down?
Well, the first indication was out of bounds from side judge Nate Jones. I saw that clearly. However, immediately 2 other officials came over to indicate that no, they thought he was inbounds with the interception, and the Bear offense is on the field. What a catch by Tate.
Yeah, here's another look at it. Now watch David Tate comes over and real soft hands on this thing. He just comes up very nicely and picks it off. Now, see, the receiver's got the hand on him there, and he got both feet in bounds. There you saw very clearly the toes were in bounds before he fell out of bounds, and that's why the Bears have the football.
Well, and you mentioned the added element that he could have been pushed out a little bit by the intended receiver Martin. But while they are reviewing it, the Bears have their offensive team on the field, and young David Tate, who had to step in for Sean Gale, a rookie out of Colorado, a number 10 choice of the Bears this year, just made himself a great catch no matter what.
Now, Tim, here's another look at it. Now, watch the feet of Tate once he comes back down to the ground. Watch the toes. That's the key.
Play is confirmed as an interception. First down.
Both feet are in bounds, and indeed, the Bears do have the ball offensively. Here's another look at it. Now watch the toes of David Tate. Both of them come down inbounds. You don't see that white line on the sideline come up until he falls out of bounds over it.
Tate had an interception against Buffalo in a nickelback role. He said that's when he felt the team really accepted him as no longer being just a rookie. Well, he comes up big here again today as a starter. First down, Chicago. Good faking by McMahon. Deep in, overthrows Gentry again. Gentry looking for an interference call, but none forthcoming there. The coverage by Robert Williams, and Gentry actually ran into Williams trying to catch up to the overthrow.
Well, I'm sure what the Bears is, they looked at the tapes of last week's game against the Redskins with the Cowboys. They said, hey, look, let's try to stretch this defense a little bit. Let's go downfield and see what's down there. But now, you know, this play action and the running game has been working so well for them. Why not stay with that and just be confident in what you can do and what you know you can accomplish and get down in there if you're trying to get another score. Now, you're the Cowboys defense. You understand the fact that they're going to test you on those corners, particularly Williams at the outside. credit for the block. We'll give him credit for the roll, though. Now watch McMahon here on the reverse. He hands off to Thomas Sanders. Now see, again, those two guards are pulling out in front. Ball back to Morris. He comes back in and tucks it back up underneath. Sees those two big tackles out front there giving him good protection. McMahon has thrown the block already, or the roll, I'll say. And now Ron Morris goes downfield. He got the block on Gary Cobb, took him out on the corner.
Well, it's a first down, a 22-yard gain for Ron Morris. Wide receiver. The two reverses have been successful for the Bears. Overthrowing Muster under pressure from a blitzing Ron Burton. McMahon let that ball go a little too quickly.
He's got too much macho working for him now after that big block. You know, he wants to be an offensive lineman now.
He had Muster all wide open, but even Michael Jordan, watching from the sidelines, couldn't have caught that one. That was higher than even Jabbar might have been able to reach for his suggestion last week.
Well, I tell you what, there's Otis Wilson who is standing there alongside of him. Otis likes to feature himself as a awfully good basketball player and thinks he's in that class with Michael Jordan.
Wilson out with a knee injury, gone for the season. Bears starting to rack it up in the stat department. Lots of time for McMahon. And again, a bad pass intended for Morris. That'll bring up third down.
McMahon took a little bit of a pop there right at the end, just as he delivered for Mark Wallen, but he's back up and he's all right. But you know what? That's the kind of thing that really shocks that quarterback after a while. You take enough of those things, you get a little dizzy.
He's not too happy at his errant throws. He's had several of them off. 4 series now, 6 of 12. Defensive backs in for the Cowboys on the passing down. Hendricks, Francis joining the front 4. Incomplete in the end zone, broken up by Ron Francis, the second-year man from Baylor.
What you saw the Dallas cornerbacks do is come up in that press position, and that way they wait until Jim McMahon makes his call, and then they back off, and this is the coverage that they give you downfield. Wendell Davis thought he was going to have to do that shake move off the line of scrimmage, but no, he does not. He is covered downfield in the end zone. Excellent play by the defensive secondary of the Cowboys.
Well, it brings up fourth down, and Kevin Butler comes on.
Guard, timeout, Chicago, number 1.
The Bears have taken a timeout here with 8:07 remaining in the first half. Chicago on top 7-0. Mike Ditka, during the timeout, made the decision to go for it. It would have been a 51-yard field goal attempt for Butler, his all-time long of 52, and his best this year of 40. So he's going with 4 wide receivers on 4th and 10 from the Dallas 34-yard line. Complete to Morris. First down, Chicago. And well-executed play for the Bears gets them first down.
Ron Morris right across the middle of the field there. He's got Everson Walls beat down the middle. Now he just takes off and he knows he's got the first down. Now he's trying to get that extra yardage.
A 15-yard pickup on the pass, and McMahon had thrown 3 bad passes in a row prior to that, but he delivers when it was needed. So the Bears keep the football. They have had it much of this first half. Muster and Sanders, the running backs. The pass too low, intended for McKinnon. Another well-designed play that had yardage marked all over it, but McMahon, again, unhappy with himself. He threw it into the turf.
And I guess it's a question of mechanics today with Jim McMahon. You know, he probably just doesn't have the mechanics down the way he wants to, because that time it was just a simple little toss out there, and he really put it down on the ground.
Well, McMahon featured this week on the cover of Chicago Magazine, a quite revealing story in that magazine this week. A lot of interesting personal material, and I think one of the interesting aspects is his own comparison comparison to the character Randall McMurphy, and one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Rolling right this time. McMahon, this one is complete. McKinnon, they just ran the same play the other way. First down.
Well, the thing that Mike Ditka knows so well from having coached down in Dallas with Tom Landry is Tom works so much off of tendencies. He says, hey, look, you know, I know that the tendency is not to run the same play twice, so why not let's go back with her again. That time it was open. Let's come back with it again to the other side and try to see if it works.
Well, it worked, but it may not be the full 10. They're going to measure now. McMahon's over there saying, boy, it looked like 10 to me.
He's got his own measurement.
Yeah, he's going to watch this closely. And it's going to come up short. About a half a yard. McMahon said of Randall McMurphy in that film role played by Jack Nicholson, he was just misunderstood. He could have escaped, but he stayed to help his friends, and then he got zapped. And he says maybe he's been zapped with the same kind of attitude here in Chicago.
But he eats it up. He loves it. You know, he kind of thrives off of that whole attention thing and the fact that people think that he's a little off base, and he really doesn't care that much about what people think. He just does his own thing.
Well, he is a little off base. Third down, less than a yard. Inside the 10.
He got great blocking up front. Now watch the center, Hilgenberg, the two guards, Bortz and Thayer. They clean out that middle very nicely for him. Then you see Hilgenberg works on to the linebacker, and that's what also gives McMahon that extra room to run up in the middle. Hilgenberg chipped off that down tackle and then went straight up to that middle linebacker, and that's what helped the play be successful.
Lockhart held his ground to prevent him from going right into the end zone. Moorhead has been joined by James Thornton and Brent Novoselsky, three tight ends, as they try to close off this long drive with a touchdown. And McMahon just throws that one away. He had pressure from two Cowboys, a blitzing Billy Bates and Everson Walls.
So I tell you one thing, that photographer down in the end zone got a great shot of that pass because it went right into his lens. It's a dangerous spot to be in down there, particularly when you've got a camera right in your face.
Well, there was no bear around to prevent the ball from going anywhere else. He was just unloading it.
That's it.
11th play of this drive for Chicago, and again, the real killer for Dallas is the time being used up by the Bears on the clock, Dan. You said at the top that that's what they try to do, and they've been successful. Goal line defense in. Sanders is stuffed on a tough defensive play. Linebacker Steve Diassi. And Mark Wellen, the defensive lineman, number 95. Diassi, the 5-year man from Boston College.
Now, the Bears are going to try to run wide on this play with Thomas Sanders, but watch the action on the corner there. Diassi slips off of a block. Now, the play gets shut down outside by Billy Owens. Now, watch Diassi come in here. He gets some help from inside from Jeffcoat, and as a result, the Bears aren't successful on that play. Now, what you're trying to do when you get down this area of the goal line is probably to keep it inside. It's a little bit easier to run inside and be successful getting in the end zone or play action, one of the two.
Third and goal from the 3. Incomplete for Thornton. The pressure came from Ed Too Tall Jones.
I tell you what, the way that Cowboy defensive line came through, it looked like a screen pass. Look at all those guys chasing Jim McMahon. There's 4 guys on his case, and he just unloads it, and Ed Too Tall Jones comes over and gives him that little shot down there that all the quarterbacks love to get.
You know, I asked McMahon about Jones and that height and his ability to bat away balls, you know, and he said there is no way that you can ignore him. There's no way you can pretend that he isn't going to be in your face with those hands up.
Hey, Tim, this guy, Ed Too Tall Jones, blocked a field goal over me when I was playing for the Bears, and he didn't even jump.
Well, Butler will try from the 11-yard line, and he has a 21-yard field goal. So the Cowboys with a good defensive aggressive surge inside their 5 hold the Bears to 3.
Say hello to the early bird, the guy who's always up and at 'em, who prepares early for his physical fitness test. Well, almost always. You see, sometimes even the early birds need a little push now and then. Waiting until the last minute to get ready for your physical fitness test, you run the risk of overexertion or injury. In other words, you can blow the whole thing. So make that next test easy on yourself and anybody else who's pulling for you. Don't hang around until the last minute. Get a jump on it now with a regular program of fitness and good nutrition and feel a lot better later on.
Partner made the game today. That's pretty cute. They made a CBS guy out of him. We like that. Kickoff is down in the end zone by Burbage. It was a deep kick by Butler. You know, I actually got an autographed picture from those guys last year after we had some fun with Chris Miller's father in the Atlanta-San Francisco game, who reminded me of old Ed there. Well, college football next week is going to be an exciting matchup because at 2:30 Eastern time, you'll see the Penn State Nittany Lions battle the Alabama Crimson Tide at Birmingham Legion Field. And that's college football action next Saturday right here on CBS Sports. If it's anything at all like what we saw yesterday, Notre Dame from Miami.
Remember back to that Sugar Bowl game that they had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's a pretty intense rivalry for two teams that are from different parts of the country. On first down, White to Newsom. Takes a tough shot, knocked flying by Singletary, but he gained about 6 to the 26-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, Mike Singletary is like a Stinger missile out there today. That's the second real tough shot he's gotten on one of the Cowboys today. You know, he's known for that, but boy, when he gets those shots on you, when you're just a little off balance, you know that you're going to feel it for a couple of days. I remember one time we were practicing, I came down and down blocked on him, and he bent the steel on my face mask, and that was only in his rookie year. He's a tough guy.
He is a tough guy, like Singletary. Second down. Herschel Walker tiptoeing up, has the first down. Maurice Douglas just gave him enough of an angle to force him out of bounds, because had he turned it up the sideline stand, he was looking at daylight.
Oh, I'm telling you, you know, Herschel Walker, we were talking with him last night about when we played here in the USFL, he turned a play like that into about an 80-yard touchdown play, because when he hits that sideline, he is gone, because there's nobody that can catch him. I don't care what kind of angle your secondary people have on him, he's gone.
Look at those numbers. What an awesome year.
He's an awesome person. I really like this guy. You know, he's got so much about his personality that's there to like. He's a good, wholesome guy.
First down, Dallas. Sack, Hampton. Third Chicago sack on the Dallas quarterbacks, and Hampton hurt on the play.
You see, Dan looks like he is in a lot of pain. And when a guy like him who's had as many operations and injuries as he has had over his career lays down on the field, you know it's bad. He is not one to lay down for the camera. We will definitely get a report to you as quickly as we possibly can. You know, the big guys that look like he got hit on that tailbone there. He's holding his hip a little bit. Now here he is is right in the middle of your screen. Number 99, Dan Hampton. He's going to come in on the sack. And there's him working over the center. He beats him right now. Gets a little pressure from the guard there. That's Nate Newton. And he just grabs a hold of Danny White. And there you see that somebody is sitting right on his back there. And that's where he got that shot on the hip. Yeah, I think it might have been his own man, Maurice Douglas, who was coming in to help with the tackle. It looked like he might have made contact with his helmet onto Hampton. We'll have a word for him when they see that in the film. He sure will. In to replace him, Dick Chapura, second-year man from Missouri, their 11th choice last year. Big 280-pounder, number 94. Second and 17. Screen pass, Walker, flags down, and Tate with a diving block at the legs of Walker upsets him. And Tim Newsom is down on the ground holding his knee. Another injury that the Dallas Cowboys absolutely could not afford at this point. A hard-hitting football game taking its toll. Find out what the flag is as Newsom is on his feet. We're happy to see. Danny White getting the call, so it must be against the Bears. David Tate got a pretty good lick on the much bigger Herschel Walker. Tate goes only 177 pounds. Probably the right play. If he had tried to take him up high, he'd probably still be riding him into the end zone. He had to pay him a nickel for the ride. Newsom is apparently all right. He came right back in. Further discussion by the referee with members of his staff. We'll find out from Jim Tunney what's going to happen here. The infraction was apparently against Chicago, but you see Richard Dent, he's going to get in and find out and straighten out this whole mess. Yes. The Colonel. Why do they call him the Colonel? Well, they say he's just like the guy with the chicken. He does one thing right, rush the passer. Well, I tell you what, he does a lot more than that right, though. He plays that run as well as anybody now. He's really come a long way in his career. Correction, the flag will be picked up, no foul, completed pass is third down. We knew that already, Jim. It was a long discussion to find out nothing really happened. Whose dirty laundry is that? It's not mine. So it's first down for, no, not a first down, pardon me. It'll leave third down, and it's going to be a long four, really, for the Dallas Cowboys on the completion of Walker. I know that the Dallas Cowboys really want to get that ball to Doug Crosby as well, number 84, because he's such an essential guy in their passing game for them. And he's one of those guys, as we said earlier, that Paul Hackett told us the other night, that they're depending on to really step up and take some of that pressure off those young people. We've got a black cat convention going on here. Midfield, which means that you have to think that the replay guys must be having a little discussion. I don't know what they'd be looking at. Star Trek or something, but they can't be looking at that last play. And what it would cover, because they're you know, what they get to rule on is pretty much confined, and I don't know what would have happened on that play that they could be discussing, but we will attempt to find out for you, folks. The replay system will concentrate on plays of possession or touching, questions involving fumbles, receptions, interceptions, muffs, ineligible player touching a forward pass, plays governed by the sideline, the goal line, the lines, and the in lines and lines of scrimmage. But it doesn't, I don't think anything fits in here. Hey, you know, the officials like to get a little airtime, too. Give them a break. Now they're telling Tom Landry. That might be a question of where the ball went out of bounds, which was right in front of the Cowboy bench. We know that. Maybe a spotting of the ball here, where they actually are going to place the ball from where Walker was hit. Tom Landry obviously satisfied with the explanation because he's looking at his game plan. Yeah, he's worried about the next play, right? Which is typical of Tom. Let's plan ahead here and worry about what's going to happen next. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to Al Levan, the running back coach of the Cowboys last night, and he was telling me about Herschel and the kind of dedication that he brings to the ball game. And he said, you know, they have meetings for the rookies during the off season, and sometimes they'll be at 6 or 7 in the morning, and guess who was there with all the rest of those guys? Third down, 38, half-yard line. Not 38, 34, Herschel Walker. And, you know, that's the kind of dedication he brings to the game, though. Just an exceptional athlete, an exceptional human being. Well, big deal here. They finally decided where the ball ought to be spotted. That used up about 5 minutes at least. see on that play when Nate Newton backed up because that defense was coming out of now the charges against the Cowboys. Had he gone forward,
Start, offense, left guard, 5 yards.
they would have been against the Bears.
So it was Nate Newton. Watch it here.
Watch him, number 61 now. He takes the fake there off of Dent. Now watch him drop back. See, if he goes forward, that means the defense drew him offside. But he went backward, and as a result, he gets the penalty.
And you saw Hampton react immediately to what Nate Newton did. He jumped in there. He was not offside. So now that backs the Cowboys up to 3rd down and nearly 9 at their 33-yard line. They have Richard Dent in the Dent or Colonel defense moving around as a linebacker up. Is that a completion?
No, that ball was trapped down on the ground. It was trapped by Everett Gay.
Incomplete. Kelvin Edwards, the intended receiver. Pressure on Danny White from Al Harris.
Yeah, now watch this ball is trapped down on the ground, and that's what the call was by the officials. And watch the receiver off the break. Now watch him come back down and try to scoop that ball up on a one-hand deal. But see, he's still bobbling it as he goes to the ground. And that's Kelvin Edwards. And then again, he's got that cast on one hand.
So the Cowboys will have to give it up. Saxon standing inside his 20. Nice kick. McKinnon waits for it. The Bear 21 bobbles it. Dallas football at the Bear 25-yard line.
There's still a tussle going on for that football, but the officials have already signaled it's Dallas football.
Garth Jacks, linebacker number 53, comes up with the football. Richardson trying to steal it back for the Bears, but McKinnon flat out dropped that one as it appeared to hit him on the shoulder pad when it came down. And as he dove forward trying to recover it, he was buried, and McKinnon is receiving some attention out there now. There was quite a pileup of Cowboys going for the loose ball.
Saxon got great hang time on it, and as a result, Dennis is still looking up, and those defenders are coming right down in his face. Now look how high in the air he's looking up, trying to figure out where this ball's going to come from. It floats a little bit on up to his left, and boy, it just hits right off the shoulder pad, and now the scramble starts, and boy, he got a shot on the head when he tried to reach for the football. There that ball is coming down, and then boy, that's the kind of thing you like to get if you're a punter, that good hang time. And it just bounces off Dennis's shoulder. Now watch the shot coming in from the right side. Jacks is the first guy, and he just buries Dennis along with a host of other Dallas Cowboys.
Dennis McKinnon in a dangerous job as a punt returner, and he's always been a willing and tough guy back there. Does not like to fair catch him. And in this case here, he paid a heavy price. Well, coming up at halftime, our NFL Today crew, Brent and Dick Butkus, will have scores and highlights from around the league, and also the big trade 1 year later. Brent Musburger will take a look back at the trade that shook the NFL and is now producing bell-ringing dividends for the Rams. That's all coming up at halftime. And McKinnon is on his feet. We're happy to report for Bears fans, football fans, period. You hate to see the injuries. This has been a very hard-hitting football game.
Tim, bell-ringing dividends for the Rams.
Who could that be about? Maybe it's about Greg Bell.
Well, I'm sure you watched that Fighting Irish game yesterday on CBS along with all the rest of you Notre Damers.
Yes, yeah, I was jumping up and down through that one.
Okay, Mike Singletary's pumping up that defense now. Hey, they got to do it. They know their backs are against the wall here. They don't want to give up the touchdown.
10-0 Bear lead. 3:23 to go first half. Dallas at the 25. Walker to the 20. Second down. Singletary, Jones, Tate, all around. Big Herschel Walker. Walker coming into this game with 577 yards rushing, averaging 4.3 each time he carries the ball.
And Herschel told us last night, he says, hey, look, I recognize this Bears defense is probably one of the best around, but Herschel said he wants to be the best possible football player he can be, and that includes running the ball, blocking, and catching passes against the best defense in the league. McMichael, 76. I said it before, this guy is having an all-pro season. This time he gets a lot of help with the blitz. Outside linebacker Rivera coming in to help him out. No place for Danny White to run. He can't run up and step up in the pocket, and he can't turn outside because he's got linebackers coming, and as a result, he gets the track.
Well, Dallas has done very well in sacks allowed. Only 5 in the first 6 games of the season. Their big offensive line has done the job. Today, they've already given up 4. Meanwhile, Mark Tuanay injured on the last play as the Bears keep up the pressure. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here at Soldier Field. The fired-up Bear defense up again. A gain of 5. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggett, Soldier Field, Chicago. A beautiful afternoon after a wet, rainy morning. 2 minutes to play first half. The Bears lead 10-0. Dallas with the football, but a 4th down at the Bear 30-yard line after the fumble recovery by Dallas on the dropped punt by Dennis McKinnon. And you can see that the Bears have had the ball much of this first half, and in this quarter, they have racked up the yardage. Dallas will go for it. Fight for Kelvin Martin, way overthrown. A flag down at the line of scrimmage.
I thought that the Bears defense may have left a little early on that play, and indeed that's the case. Richard Dent was across the line of scrimmage, I think, before the ball was snapped.
Well, they are playing with so much fire that that's sometimes when you get a little over-enthusiastic and get guys jumping in there too soon.
And you see Richard arguing the call.
Well, look at this, New England.
Was number 95, and it's still be 4th down.
New England on top of Cincinnati, 14-0 at halftime. Now, listen to the numbers on this. Boomer Esiason, who had only 3 interceptions prior to the game through 6 previous games, 4 picks in the first half by Esiason. Doug Flutie, 2 of 4 for New England, passing the former Bear quarterback. Field goal try by Ruzek from the 33-yard line. A 43-yard attempt, and it is wide to the left. So the Cowboys come up empty after recovering the fumble. 1:48 to go first half. Chicago on top. Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggett's back as Tom Landry checks the short list of plays over there and trying to find a way back into this game offensively. The Bears have kept the ball, Dan. That's been the big thing, is that time of possession that you mentioned at the very beginning of the telecast has been the key. Anderson on first down gets 2 or 3. That running game, after they tried to throw the ball early, Dan, they started to run the ball. They just ate up the clock.
That's it. They just settled back into that running game, worked the play action passes, and did what they know they do best, and that kills that clock for them.
Anderson with 44 yards rushing up to that play and add another 2. Anderson on a pass, a flag down. Anderson has the first down yardage.
Yeah, and I guess what the call is going to be is Hilgenberg, 63, was downfield before the pass was thrown on the screen. He's leading out on that screen, and as a result, the flag came out on that.
Kevin Brooks made the tackle downfield. See what the call is here.
As an offensive lineman, you have to be careful and wait until that back catches the football before you take off the block for him downfield.
Jim Tunney.
Holding, defense number 24 is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Defense aggressive holding call against Everson Walls.
Well, that's a strange call on a screen pass to a halfback.
Well, it turns into a Bear first down at their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, you know, look where the official threw the flag was right by Jay, and he was real close to the line of scrimmage. So he said, hey, look, maybe that's the call. But, boy, a holding call for a defensive back on a screen pass is awfully difficult.
Man, 9 of 19 passing from the shotgun. Short man Anderson gets a block from McKinnon. McKinnon hurt himself on the block.
Yeah, but boy, did he help the play.
Did he ever?
He blocked there. He really, hey, he worked on Manny Hendricks that time. Manny turned around, and all he saw was 85 in his face.
There's Anderson giving him a pat on the back. Thanks for the block. And here's a guy who was buried moments ago after he fumbled the punt.
Yeah, but you know, one of the things that Dennis McKinnon does well is block downfield. The Bears expect that out of all of their wing backs. Now, here comes the block right on the numbers. Watch him hit Manny Hendricks, and he gets 2 for the price of 1 because Robert Williams is right behind him. And then you see Neil Anderson take it up the field and duck out of bounds. He doesn't take the shot from Ron Francis.
So they have a first down at the 50. That is one tough hombre there, Dennis McKinnon. Some think he's a little too tough, and that bothers him. He said, hey, I play the game the way I'm asked to play. McMahon intended for Gentry, and he steals it from Robert Williams. What a play! The ball bobbling around there, and Dennis Gentry just refused to drop it.
Boy, I tell you what, Robert Williams has got to be checking his pocket for his rabbit's foot. Second play now he's been involved in this one. Hey, he strips the ball out of Dennis's hands, and you see Gentry bobbling it a little bit. Now he pulls away from the tackle and goes downfield and almost gets the first down, but he does a smart thing, get out of bounds to save the clock.
57 seconds remain first half. 2nd and 5 at the Cowboy 45. 2nd and 4. Inside to Neil Anderson. First down Bears. Mark Wellen on the tackle.
Chicago, number 2.
Bears take a timeout with 50 seconds remaining.
Now, the thinking here, if you're Jim McMahon going to the sideline, is, hey, look, worst case scenario, we're going to try to come out of this thing with a field goal. But let's see what we've got in our game plan that works for us to go to the end zone. And again, as you just heard, this is a 40-second timeout because we're not breaking for commercial. But that's what you start thinking about. What works for us down in this area? You're on that 40-yard line, 39, 40-yard line. Get in position where, at worst case, you get the field goal. Now, if you're the Dallas defense, you know what they like to do, the Bears, that is, like to work that short passing game. So maybe you start sending a few people here and there on the blitzes to try to get to McMahon.
Greg Landry.
He's already started as defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and you know he's got a couple of things in his back pocket. He was a great football player as well as being a great coach. He's in the Hall of Fame. He looks like a football coach, doesn't he?
He does. He really does.
You look up football coach in the dictionary, there's his picture.
First down at the 40-yard line. 50 seconds remaining. First half. Bears 10-0. Spirited Dallas Cowboys staying in this game. McMahon deep for Morris. He's got it. Touchdown.
Hey, I don't know if they can remember their offensive plays, but how do they remember that celebration in the end zone?
39-yard touchdown play. What a catch. And they just went through it again. That takes a lot of practice time.
Yeah, I was expecting Mike Ditka to come up and do it next.
Morris with 2 fingers taped together on his right hand. He dislocated his finger a couple of weeks ago. You see the tape in the high fives. Butler's point after is good. And the Bears had a critical time for the Cowboys. 42 seconds left in the half. Open a 17 6-point lead.
Now McMahon has been testing that secondary of the Cowboys deep all day. Now finally he drops back. He says, hey, look, I'm going for Morris over on the left side. Ron Morris has caught a couple of these passes over the last couple of weeks for scores, and he does the same thing there. He just takes it in on Francis. Francis pushes him out of bounds, but hey, it's too late. 6 points are on the board. You know, Morris wears those gloves. You'll look at this. He has some brown gloves on, and they are actually Mason's gloves. And he says that he gets a better feel for the football with those things on rather than the receiver gloves that everyone else wears.
39-yard touchdown pass, 75 yards in 6 plays. As the Bears work that clock well and really put some heat now on Dallas, because had the Cowboys been able to go in down 10 at halftime, well, obviously you feel like you can make some good things happen. They've been playing tough defense, and that one really hurts Dallas to give one up in the final minute of the first half.
Just have the ball roll off the tee on him. He's going to reset it. Now, if you're a Dallas special teams now, you're thinking, hey, look, we need to get something happening here, even with 42 seconds left. Get in position to make something happen for us offensively.
Ball goes out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. Again, if you joined us along the way, Steve Ballure injured in the first quarter.
Dallas ball, first down.
The automatic ruling, and the Cowboys get the ball on the 35 because that ball went out of bounds. And that's where Tom Landry and his guys will get it pumped up from.
75 yards in 6 plays, another minute and 6 chopped off the clock by the Chicago Bears, and that has been really the big story of this first half, in that they have been able to keep possession of the ball. Danny White try to make something happen with 42 seconds left. Well, it looked like it was a screen to Herschel Walker, but it didn't really develop very well, and 4 Bears were there, mixed up in the traffic of the blockers. Harris, Douglas, Hampton, Richardson breaking it up. It's 227 yards of offense to only 58.
And again, that falls right into that time of possession thing that we talked about earlier. You see the yards passing just in this quarter alone, 95 for the Bears. They've been averaging around 200 yards passing per game. So that averages up because of this game.
2nd and 10 for Danny White. Uphill battle for the Cowboys in the second half. That's complete out to Everett Gay.
Now, see, the Bear defense will give you those little underneath patterns. They'll give that up because it's going to take you a year and a day to get down the field with that kind of action. What they don't want to give up is the deep stuff.
3rd down. White, that's a good pass to Kelvin Martin. 1st down to the 46-yard line. White zipped that in on the money.
Again, they'll give you the inside patterns, let you work back inside, but they don't want to let you to that sideline where you can stop the clock without burning a timeout.
Dallas now into Bear territory. They take a timeout. 12 seconds left. The ball at the Chicago 46-yard line. White will talk it over with Landry.
You see Kevin Sweeney, the backup quarterback, in there trying to help out Danny White. You know, in talking with Paul Hackett about this whole thing about the Dallas quarterbacks and how they like to bring them along in that 5 to 7 year time frame. So as one is aging and getting older, they have another young guy coming up. You see Scott Sekiels, he's another one of those guys that they're working into that program.
Well, they feel that it is Steve Ballure's time, and they want him to become the accomplished starter in the fine tradition of Dallas quarterbacks. Meredith, White, but Ballure knocked out of action with a concussion early in this game. White sacked. 5 sacks in the first half for Chicago. Hampton this time.
Boy, I tell you what, Tom Rafferty just got ran over at the center position, and Dan Hampton just made tracks to the quarterback.
Dallas, number 2.
5 seconds left. Dallas timeout.
I said earlier that Dan Hampton told us if he can't beat a guy one-on-one, then he shouldn't be playing anymore, and that's when he's going to give it up. Here he works against Newton. Now takes that inside move off the twist, where McMichael comes inside. He goes outside, leaps over Rafferty there, and just grabs Danny White. Now, Danny didn't have the opportunity again to step up in the pocket because there's big pressure coming right in the middle of that pocket, and there's nowhere else to run. He did a smart thing by just taking the sack instead of throwing the football away. Dan Hampton, another all-pro year.
Bears have matched the number of sacks given up by Dallas through 6 games in the first half of this game today.
Hey, this guy here, Dan Hampton, is Bogart tough. You know, he's one of those kind of guys that plays with the injuries. You look at his hands, they're all broken up, but that's the kind of guy he is. Just tough. Arkansas kid.
I think he's got a helmet imprinted at the base of his spine from that hit from his own man Douglas earlier. And second down, White steps up. Nice catch by Edward Gage. But that'll finish off the first half. And that's the end of the first half here in Chicago with the score. The Chicago Bears 17, the Dallas Cowboys nothing.